We are back at it, Leland Live, Talk 99.5. Alan and company bringing you the show this hour. If y'all want to give somebody some blingity bling bling, if your boo thing needs something nice and you want to do some fine jewelry, y'all go see Alan and the Thompson family. They're just, they really are the sweetest people. And don't you want to work with good people? And once you get to know them, I'm convinced, if you ever go and introduce yourself and see the store, it's a small store by design, low pressure. It's not one of those mall stores of some kid they just hired hitting you with the, what do they try to do there? Here are the 6 C's. Listen, it's just the Thompsons, and they're going to be able to repair, upgrade, fix, clean, sell, design, whatever you want in the way of fine jewelry and great gift-giving items in there of all types as we get toward graduation. Maybe you want to commemorate the year 2026. It's Allen and Company over in Vestavia Highway 31, Allen and Company. All right, y'all. Gary Palmer, our congressman here in the 6th District. We're doing a radio town hall. We got a few lines open just to let you know. A lot of folks were bumping last hour off the busy signal because, we only have 4 actual lines that we can rotate through. So we'll go quickly this hour. But y'all bring it. We're kind of having a real casual conversation, Gary, just talking about whatever. And I got a million questions for you, but I want the audience to go first. That's why we do these town halls, and I appreciate you carving out some time to come sit with us. Hanging out over here in the barn. It'd be also good if I would do my job and turn your mic on.
I said I'd be happy to.
All right. Tom is in Madison, one of our great regular callers. Tom, the floor is yours. You're on with Gary Palmer.
Congressman Palmer, I'm glad you're taking these calls. I have a question. We got a lot of, things going up in North Alabama, but there's been this strange thing about scientists, really bright scientists going missing, like Amy Eskridge, I think, and then that was in 22. And then Joshua LeBlanc. Is there anything at the congressional level that's being done to kind of raise this? Because, that is pretty close to home up here in Huntsville.
For real.
Yes, we're investigating. I'm on the committee that's launching the investigation. The chairman of the committee is Jamie Comer from Kentucky. We're digging into this. The FBI is digging into it. I think there's going to be other federal agencies on the intelligence side that I think might be engaged. We've got to go about this in a very careful way because I am very concerned about this. Obviously, several of those were killed, including Miss Eskridge, who 4 years ago told people that her life was in danger. The initial law enforcement evaluation was that she committed suicide, and she had told people time and time again that she would never commit suicide. And so I think there's something to this.
And Daily Mail and out of UK has a great story on her and a lot more details. And this 1819 talks about Joshua LeBlanc and nuclear propulsion.
Was he the one that died in the Tesla? Somebody had a Tesla wreck.
I'm not sure. But here's the thing that concerns me. These were scientists working in advanced metals and advanced propulsion. These are things that are game changers in your military technology and your space technology. And it's one thing for them to die, but it's something else for them to go missing.
And the ones that are missing, and that's the connective tissue. Is the
and one was a former general.
Stories behind her being harassed and. But anyway, God bless.
Hold on, Tom. I got to ask you a question because you work on Redstone still, right?
No, I retired February 20th.
What's the mood? What's the mood up there in that community, though? You're in the community. We're not. I mean, I see the headlines. We talk about it every day. But is it really front and center?
Wondering.
Yeah.
People are wondering. I mean, because NASA, I take care of my next door neighbor's cat when she goes off, and she takes care. She makes urine drinking water. So I'll just say that. And but
all right, then. Notice she's still alive.
Those kind of things are. I mean, it's all over the place up here.
Yeah.
All right. God bless.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye.
Appreciate it, man. I guess it's probably inappropriate to theorize, especially in your position. But do you think these are foreign actors? There has to be if it's legit. the internet has an ability to tie things together that don't belong, and I've seen some holes in some of these cases. And to throw one more at you, I was reading about one today. Do you remember a guy who set himself on fire in front of one of the Trump properties in a Cybertruck, and he tried to blow the whole truck up, and it didn't really blow the truck up? But apparently this guy, it was written off as a mental illness, but the thing he was ranting about was some kind of anti-gravity research, which maybe it's just a coincidence, but good Lord, this guy dies in a spectacular way. And all of these scientists were working on sort of world-changing anti-gravity / materials research.
I'm not trying to tie what I'm working on to this directly, but to put it, to add a little more to it in terms of how far behind we are China in certain things. This work in advanced metals, we don't refine the stuff that we need to do a lot of this.
The raw materials.
Yeah, like rare earth elements. There's 17 rare earth elements.
Yep.
That the entire economy would shut down if China cut us off from them, because we don't have a single major refinery for rare earth elements in the Western Hemisphere, Leland. So I've been in at least 4 classified briefings on this. I'm the guy leading the effort on it in Congress. The White House is all over it, but I've been talking about this for 6 years. The Biden administration did not do squat, and now we're in a space race type effort, and I think we've got about a 5-year window to get it done. I'm not tying it to what these scientists disappearing, but a lot of the stuff that we need to do, we're not going to be able to do if we don't secure our own ability to process and refine these materials.
I'm not asking you to participate in conspiracy theory, but you just made me think, we all look at China every time there's something nefarious, but does it cripple our ability to win that race, to have these scientists die or go missing?
Whatever they're
generically,
whatever they were working on would be set back depending on how much overlap and redundancy they had in the people working. I know that sounds like a political answer, but
we don't know what we're dealing with, and we don't want to over speculate or say something or do something that interferes or makes it worse. But the pattern is, I told my boys when I was raising them, something happens one time, that could be an incident. This is usually when they get in trouble. If it happened twice, you could call it a coincidence. You get to 3, 4, 5 times something, it's a pattern. It's a clear pattern it's risen to the level of the White House. The White House was briefed by the FBI the other day, and now Congress is getting involved. So something's up.
Yeah.
Good question. All right, JJ next on line 1, Radio Town Hall with Gary Palmer. JJ, what's up?
Hey, Congressman. I know I'm going to preface this by saying I know I'm not asking you to criticize anyone, and of course you wouldn't. But and I think I heard just the tail end of your answer about to say that you were going to tie it to, if you could tie it to some kind of funding, you might get have a better chance of getting across the line. But my question is, all this time it seems like John Thune has been slow walking it and putting it off and hesitating, or at least that's the impression that we as voters get. Is that true, or did he really never have the votes to bring it up and get it passed? I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to everybody, even the Democrats. And so what was the holdup on that? And do you think, again, I heard you mention it being tied to some funding thing that you're going to try, but what do we have to do to get that thing passed before the election this year in November?
Yeah, because of the filibuster, he has to have 60 votes, and that means 7 Democrats would have to come over and vote for it for breaking the filibuster, and that's just not going to happen. And then you've got people pushing him to get rid of the filibuster, which if the Senate,
that's kind of what I was wondering.
Yeah, I'm not in that camp yet. Because if we were to lose the White House, the House, and the Senate, and no filibuster, Puerto Rico would be a state, District of Columbia would be a state, and it'd pack the court.
Well, aren't they going to do that anyway in the Senate? They already tried.
Well, but we've got this is one of the reasons why this is going to be an incredibly important election, because it will destroy everything that President Trump's done in the first 2 years. But going back to how to get this done, I think the gentleman who called may have been thinking that it's some kind of welfare program to pay for these photo IDs and birth certificates for people, so to pay them for the people. That's not it at all. This is not. This is a strategy for how to get the SAVE Act passed that the Democrats can't stop. And by tying some funding to it, it makes it reconcilable. There are rules within the Senate we don't have in the House.
It's got to have a spending measure.
It has to have some spending measure that's not incidental to the budget. That's why I approached it the way I did. And actually, I really think that's probably what we're going to do. And I added to it not just the voter ID, photo ID, and the birth certificate, but pay for the states, force the states to clean up their voter files.
Yeah. Thanks, JJ. How frustrating is it? And to give you all credit, the House has gotten some things done, some fundamental sort of edgy things like the SAVE Act. Y'all got it sent over. Mm-hmm. But the Senate, everything's dying over in the Senate. And I assume that's what would happen anyway. The Senate's just, this arrogant debating society over there. How frustrating is it to sit in the House and watch it all die over there?
Well, the reason you can't get anything done in the Senate is because Chuck Schumer's scared to death that he's going to lose his seat in the Senate, and it's all about Chuck. It's not about what's best for the country, and they've gone so far left. I mean, Mandami's now the central figure in the Democratic Party. You look at that lady that got elected in the special election in New Jersey, just flat out Marxist, and that's what's going on. Is the divide is so wide now, and the Democratic Party is controlled by a handful of people who are just really flat out nuts.
Yeah.
That 20 years ago, when you were involved, you would never have seen anybody like that. And we could actually negotiate and get things done. But now,
it was functional. I mean,
yeah.
People disagreed, but it was functional. It's dysfunctional now.
But this is really about Chuck Schumer, and everybody needs to understand it. And I think AOC is going to run against him. And
yeah, he's afraid of an attack on the left. And you just saw what New Jersey did.
Yeah.
A kook can get elected in that part of the country right now, for sure.
Yeah.
Sean is on line 4. We'll keep moving with the calls. Again, people say I don't give the number enough, and I know I don't. 545-9950 if you want to get on with Gary Palmer. We got about another 40 minutes or so. Sean in Hoover's up next. What's up, Sean?
Hey, Leland. Hey, Congressman. I was listening a little earlier, and you had mentioned that somebody asked you about how much money you received from AIPAC, and I think you said about $2,800.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
why do you lie? It's more like $100,000.
I haven't received $100,000 from AIPAC. That's insane.
That'd be beyond the campaign limits.
Yeah, that's
check it out.
It's illegal.
Pro-Israeli PACs, you have received $88,000.
So Sean, hang on, buddy. It would be are you saying over the course of you being in Congress, perhaps?
Over
the total, aggregate total?
In this last election cycle.
That's beyond the campaign limits.
I don't think
it's
so.
Right there in the internet. I mean, legally, you got to look it up. I mean, it's right there.
Well, we got people right here that are going to look it up real quick.
Yeah, look on Track AIPAC.
So are you anti-Israel? Is that your
right
issue?
There. Well, no. You know that AIPAC is a very controversial organization right now in today's politics. You know that, right?
I know it is with some people.
Okay, so then why would you downplay the amount of money you're receiving from them?
Because I don't keep up with it. I don't know.
You just lied to your people.
I didn't lie.
To your constituents about 20 minutes ago.
No, I didn't. I don't know. I know what the maximum contributions are from AIPAC. You asked me how much I got from AIPAC, and there's a limit on what anyone can give a member of Congress. And then you tried to say that it is $88,000, and they can't make a contribution that size.
I believe, over the course of your career, that might have added up to that amount, but you can't give a contribution that large from a PAC, not directly to a candidate for sure. All right, Sean, we'll look into it though. We'll look into it.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
Jimmy is next on line 2. What's up, Jimmy?
Hey, I have a couple of questions. One is, what happened to your effort to get the Agency Accountability Act ever passed, where they would actually get to go in and police these federal agencies, and straighten up the books a little bit, keep them from blowing too much money? You ever get anywhere with that?
I got it introduced, had 80-something co-sponsors, but I couldn't get it out of committee. And I'm sad to say that it was during the during the Trump administration, and the Office of Management and Budget had some problems with it, because what I wanted was their agencies holding money in their accounts. They're able to collect fines, fees, court awards, all kind of money that's not going through the Treasury. And so I introduced that bill so that Congress would have oversight over all of the spending, and some of my own people wouldn't support it.
So you couldn't get it through your own Republicans.
Couldn't get it through my own committee.
That's a shame. That's a darn shame. I used to work for Florida Auditor General's office. Had a great time. I'm still glad to see what Ron DeSantis has done down there to clean up spending. You got any great plans for figuring out how to get the budget deficit down and keep the national debt from growing? Because that's what concerns me. National debt keeps going up.
Well, I had a meeting with the Comptroller General, and he told me that somewhere around $800 billion is sitting in agency accounts and unobligated funds, which was a little bit misleading because some of that money is for loan guarantees and interest payments. But even if it was half that amount that was available, $400 billion, agencies shouldn't be sitting around with that kind of money when we're running a deficit. And I talked to Paul Ryan about it when he was Speaker. This is when I first tried to get this done. And we introduced the bill and had a hearing in the Oversight Committee, because I chaired the subcommittee on intergovernmental affairs, and we're trying to get it done through that. And we had opposition from Republicans. There's another bill. A lot of people may not be aware of this, but as you mentioned, Leland, all these people suing to stop things.
Yeah.
There are a lot of federal consent decrees, and when Bob Riley was governor, he found out that we were spending millions of dollars in legal fees for consent decrees, but there's no way to know what you're under because there's no database. And I've introduced a bill called the Settlement Agreement Information Database to shine the light on all of that. And twice I've gotten it passed through the House with bipartisan support, gone to the Senate, get it into the markup in the Senate committee, and the Justice Department kills it. We're trying again.
Yeah.
We're trying to get it again.
Administrative side. All right. Hey, thanks for your call, Jimmy. Thanks to our crack audience, and I mean that in a nice way. So the AIPAC contributions he was describing are your lifetime contributions, and you've been, what, 4 election cycles?
I've been there 11 years. Yeah.
So
this is the 6th one.
But to explain to the audience, there are limits per PAC per year and per cycle, right? So you have a primary and you have an election, and I think those limits are what for a PAC now, $2,000 or something. So that would be $4,000 or $5,000 a year.
It's probably a little bit more than that now.
So, well, I looked it up and I was like, well, how could that even a lifetime number come to 88,000? They're including other PACs. Do you know about the other PACs? AMP and AGG and MDACC, whatever. They got an amalgam of other PACs other than just AIPAC. You know what I mean? So your AIPAC figure may be correct. The people that are aggregating the other PACs that I guess are Israel-oriented PACs are adding that number up. That's where that number came from.
Well, I'm positive that AIPAC did not give $88,000 because
mathematically they couldn't have.
Yeah,
that's just how it works in DC. But a series of other PACs perhaps that are related or of similar interest for sure. Storm Restoration Roofing, if you wind up with some hail damage tonight, because we got several rounds now, it's good that we're getting the rain, but we've got to deal with some spring storms, and tonight hail is a possibility. You may not have any trouble, or you may not know, and you're not getting up on a ladder and going up there to look. I don't do ladders anymore. I just let my man Greg Nelson over at Storm Restoration Roofing take care of those issues. It is 205. I'm going to give you this number again in a minute, but let me go ahead and give you 205-542-3531. 3 decades in the business. Man knows his stuff, knows all the insurance companies don't get it done right. If it's an emergency or you just got an old roof and it's time, it's Greg Nelson at Storm Restoration. Here's that number again, 205-542-3531. I left you hanging on that shot, Gary. Let me put it back on the wide shot. Here we are. Storm Restoration Roofing back here in just a minute. Y'all stay tuned. All right, super quick segment here, Gary, because we're just bumping up against the bottom. I'll see if we can squeeze one more call in. John's in Vestavia. John, what's up, buddy?
Supreme Court, but I want to thank Gary's Constituency Advocacy Group to help me many times. But all this stuff with these, with Virginia messing around and with the with their voter registration, the Supreme Court, they say, make them out and kill all that by race-based gerrymandering, I think they call it.
Yeah,
Is that true, Gary?
Yeah, the Supreme Court may be on the verge of removing Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, and it would prohibit states from drawing any district based on race.
Wow, that would kill. That'd give you about 20 more congressmen in the Republican side.
Well, maybe not that many, but it will definitely impact things.
Yeah, that was just a shot in the dark, of course, but more than what you got now.
Yeah, well, we're anticipating that decision is going to come out pretty soon, and I feel I'm moderately optimistic that they're going to rule in favor of the state of Louisiana, and it's going to change a lot of things.
John, I hate to rush you, buddy, but we're going to the bottom of the hour. We'll come back 30 more minutes with Gary Palmer. 2 lines open if you'll want to get in. 545-9950 is the phone number. This is Leland Live Talk 99.5. Back here in just a minute. All right, let's get back going. AJ, did you tell me Thomas was there? Is he on the phone? Or no Thomas today? Okay. All right, well, let me do it then. I can tell y'all all about Stockton Mortgage. They've got a website set up just for this audience where you can reach out to them and they'll help you get it figured out, man. Sometimes you're not ready to go. You're not ready to pull credit and try to do all of it at once. And a lot of folks get that way. You're just in wait mode or you want to see what's possible. They're fine with that. Reach out to them. Spitball, back of the envelope, draw out a plan. They know all the programs that are available, things you and I can't even find online searching around, and can give you a framework that you can use to start and get all dreamy and decide, okay, I'm going to do this with my mortgage or buy my first house or qualify for the VA benefits or the other things that are possible nowadays with lending. When I get Thomas back on, I want to talk to him about the new credit score system that was discussed yesterday, but we'll do that next week. Meantime, if you got it on your mind, you're thinking about it this weekend, these guys work all the time. Just go to savewithstockton.com and let them pick up the phone, start talking to you. Starts with a conversation, and maybe they can make it happen. They're really good, and they work hard, and they work all the time. Savewithstockton.com. Gary Palmer in studio this afternoon, taking the calls, the good ones and the bad ones. You ready for some more? We got 30 more minutes. All right, we're going to take AJ. We'll start at the top of your list and go to Liz in Leeds, line 1. What's up, Liz?
Yes, hi. It's a privilege to be speaking to you, I'll say that. But I want to know from Mr. Palmer if anything is being done or if anything is going to be done about those lame, sorry Democrats who sat during Trump's State of the Union address and not standing up to him asking who's in favor of America over everybody else. And they all sat there. Isn't that treason? Can't they be booted out because they're
it's actually protected by the
America.
Constitution.
Yeah, it's just tacky, Liz.
Well, it's a form of political speech.
Yeah, they've got the right to do that, sadly, but they do.
Well, it's disgusting. And
well,
it ought to be instructive to the voters that they've elected people that show that little regard for their country. And that's what worries me is that it's the people who decide who goes there. And I'm just hoping and praying that people are going to wake up in some of these congressional districts around the country and say enough's enough, that we don't want to send any more of these nutcases to D.C.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but a lot of those voters on the left aren't paying attention. I mean, I guarantee you they're going to take what Hakeem Jeffries said today about the war in Iran, that it's a complete failure, and people buy into that. It's so frustrating.
You know the difference between you and them, though, those voters, is you have programs like Leland to listen to.
Tell them about it, Gary.
Well, I'm serious. I'm not.
Liz.
Well, I've known you long enough. I don't have to kiss up to you.
How dumb is Hakeem Jeffries? I know you shouldn't be speaking ill of them. I mean, he really said that today. I heard it. I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in politics.
It's a sign of desperation.
Thanks, Liz.
It's a sign of desperation.
That Iran is in better shape than they were 54 days ago.
Yeah, and so is the Ayatollah.
That dude's dead.
That dude's dead.
The gay Ayatollah, the new one.
Well,
cardboard Ayatollah.
His dad is dead, and about.
I mean, have you been around Hakeem Jeffries' person? I mean, you see him in person all the time.
Well,
is he just playing that dumb because his constituents are dumb, and he can get away with it, or is he that dumb? Be honest.
Well, it's two things, because
that was dumb.
And I think a long time ago, you and I talked about this. They grossly underestimate the common sense of the American people. And they're trying, when he messages like that, he's trying to message to Republican voters to try to convince them that Donald Trump is failing, that the Republicans are failing. And it's not flying because they're not stupid. They're desperate for some kind of message to give them a leg up, because just a couple of weeks ago, there was a poll came out the generic ballot. In other words, it didn't have the name of the candidate. It just said, if you voted today, would you prefer a Republican over a Democrat? The Republicans have a 5-point lead. That's despite what they call the affordability crisis, all the lies they tell about health
Well,
care.
and the history on that is Republicans never lead in that generic poll.
Never
Even in good years when Republicans win, they never really ever lead in that poll. Democrats have an edge in that poll.
And that's
y'all got a
because-
+5.
And that's because they keep electing
But
these
does
crazy
does
people.
that translate to proper candidates? Has the party recruited good candidates in some of these tight races? Because that it all comes down to that.
Okay, this is the best freshman class that I have ever seen. There's not a single knucklehead in the bunch.
The ones that are currently there that just got elected.
Yeah, Republicans.
Yeah.
They're serious legislators. They're working hard. A lot of
What's
them
the difference?
who we recruited, but you can recruit them, but it's up to the people to elect them. And we've a bunch of them are in my Bible study. We have a Bible study every Thursday morning. This is a good group. If we can have another group like that, I really feel good about where we're going.
The one thing that does impress me that I know about that class, what little I've been able to study, was they came from a lot more various backgrounds. Republicans are recruiting a wider range of people. And I don't mean race and identity stuff. I mean literal backgrounds than your typical lawyer who's been in the state house for 40 years and decided he wanted to be in Congress. These are people that are coming off running business. Like Mark Wayne was a plumber, and they try to make fun of him for his, his blue collar background and lack of a pedigree. But he's probably the best Homeland Security person we've had in 2 decades.
Maybe
already.
maybe ever.
Yeah. I mean, he's a solid dude.
And when you talk about that lady, you got one lady who's a Army nurse.
Yeah.
Her husband's in the military, all the way up to guys who were in our intelligence agencies to doctors. I mean, this is a very diverse group in that regard. You got really, really smart people. And this guy that just won the special in Georgia, Clay Fuller, really sharp.
He took
Very humble.
Marjorie Trader Green's.
And a very humble guy, too.
How happy are you to have her out of the way? Come on, man. I'm going to make you get nasty.
I think we'll have a lot more hearings that are more congressional hearing and not Jerry Springer.
Yeah. And the Democrats lost Jasmine Crockett, so the entertainment value is going down.
Well, they still have a few others, but Jasmine was the leader of the pack.
Yes, she was.
And you kind of notice how AOC hadn't been out there as much. But
She's getting ready to run against Schumer. She got to clean it up. Quit
That's
being
exactly
stupid.
what's about to happen.
She's trying to be more sophisticated now.
Yeah.
Jasmine's going back to using her regular voice now. She's not doing her routine now that she's not in Congress. It's hilarious to watch.
Well,
These
I'm not
people are
sure
idiots.
she's showing up for committee meetings either.
Yep. Did you ever meet Swalwell?
He was down the hall from me.
Is it nicer not having that oil in the hall when you walk down the hall? You don't have to step in the slick spot where he walks.
It was.
So you can't say these things. I'm saying them for you.
It was minutes after he resigned that his name came off the wall.
Now I saw him taking the plaque down.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was over in a hearing or over on the floor, and when I came back, it was gone. Everything on the wall was gone.
Did they Lysol? Does the person that takes his place go in that same? Will they get assigned that same office, or will they put him in the basement? Or
No,
something?
they'll be in that same office.
Is that in Cannon? Are you still in Cannon?
Yeah.
Hueytown Pond bringing you the show tonight. Hueytown Pond. Gary, you need a utility trailer.
I've got one.
They've got them at Hueytown Pond now. In addition to the incredible gun counter, we should go over there and look at guns one day. Tommy's got an incredible gun selection. It's a pawn shop that really became a gun shop over time, but every now and then he gets a deal on something else. So they make these Larimore trailers here in Alabama, and he's picked up a ton of them. Got them as low as $14.99 single axle. You know, haul your zero turn or your lawnmower, your side by side or whatever you got to haul around town. Some of them have the foldable ramps already built in. They've got financing for you, and he wants to move these things. So I said, yeah, we'll throw that into the normal gun selection. He's got personal carry, tactical stuff, hunting stuff. Just a great guy to get to know. Y'all go see Tommy and Adam and all of them, Jessica, all that team over there at Hueytown Pond. I tell you what, I was going to go to the break, Gary, but let's get Steve and B-Roy in here, and then that'll give us a chance to go to the break and reset the phone calls and get you a few more.
All right.
Steve's on line 4. What's up, Steve?
Sir, I'm interested in the double-breasted cormorant and what the impact it's having on our lakes, our fisheries, and our in-lake islands. I don't know if you've studied this at all or heard about it at all, but when they defecate, their pH balance is almost at a level 4 or 0.4, which causes the destruction of all the native plants, which is killing the little small islands, and they eat almost 2 pounds of fish a day, and they're a protected bird in America. Canada has raised their status or changed their status from protected to non-protected, and they're allowing them to be killed now.
Steve, what's the name of the bird again?
Cormorant, double-breasted cormorant.
I don't know anything about this.
I'm a member
White
of the
Lake
Alabama.
has been wiped out.
I would Google it,
by-
but I'm afraid I get a bunch of nasty stuff.
Yeah, I'm a member of the Alabama Wildlife Federation, and I think they might have had something on it. But I tell you what I can do. If you want to give AJ your contact info, I'll find
Yes,
out
sir.
from the chairman of the Natural Resources Committee. They have jurisdiction over all of that, over the endangered species, and try to get that information back to you.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate the call, man. Acid poop?
It's not just that. It's how much fish they're consuming. I hadn't heard what he said about
So they're
changing the
non-invasive.
pH.
He said they poop out some pH acid.
Yeah, it changes the
like chemical
pH.
warfare.
Yeah, in the ground and the water. But that's first I've heard about that part of it. The other part was just how devastating they are to the fish population.
You gotta admit the variety of questions you've had this afternoon. I know your office gets stuff like this all the time, but it was very not stuff I would have asked. I'm just
It's
saying.
actually impressive.
These people, my people know stuff.
Yeah.
Like B. Roy over here. He's next on line 1. What's up, B. Roy?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Congressman Palmer, thank you so much for your hard work and dedication to this great country. I'm a little cynical, but I feel like 10% of Congress is there to really work hard, make a difference, come together, and get work done, and you're definitely one of those people.
Thank you.
I've got 2 questions. One is, do you think terms for Congress will ever happen? Has Trump ever wholeheartedly mentioned it? And, what are your thoughts about that? And then the other is, do you think the SAVE Act is going to pass?
Well, on the term limit thing, if you get term limits, then you're going to make the problem, I think, worse because the career staff's going to run everything. And I'll give you an example of this. When I was a freshman, I'd only been in office maybe 3 months. I was on the budget committee, and I wanted to address the improper payments and as the guy brought up, all of this money that's being collected that goes into agency accounts but doesn't go through Congress. And so I had my staff member who worked with me on the budget to go down to the budget committee. And a lot of people don't understand that your staff is your staff until you lose an election or you leave office, but the budget committee staff are permanent. So I had him go down and tell the budget committee staff guy that what I wanted. He came back and he said he won't do it. He said he can't do it or he shouldn't do it. He said, no, sir. He said he will not do it. And I told him, I said, you go back down there and you tell him that I sent you there to tell him he didn't get elected. And my staffer looked at me, eyes bugged out, and said, you want me to do that? I said, I want you to do it right now. I don't care if he's on the phone, if he's in a meeting. You open the door, you go in his office, and you tell him I said that. And he did.
And they do. Those, especially the committee staffers that stay there for years, run the show. They coordinate with the lobbyists.
Exactly.
But why don't we term limit them too?
Well, I'd love to be able to do that.
You can serve as a congressional staffer for 10 years, and then you go find a damn job.
Well, that's how I'm the first one to get that into the budget. And on the SAVE Act,
your guy over here doesn't like my plan.
Yeah, well, on the SAVE Act, I covered that a little while ago. I think the only way we're going to be able to do it is if we can have a cost associated with it. And that's why I say tell the states we'll pay for the issuing the photo IDs and the birth certificates. We'll pay for them to clean up the voter act file, because the only way you can get something in reconciliation so it cannot be filibustered is if it has a budgetary impact. And that's what I've recommended to the Speaker, and I've recommended it to the White House, because I think it would be absolutely worth every nickel of it to ensure honest elections.
Absolutely.
All right, B. Roy, good questions. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, we got time for maybe two more. We got to take the break. We'll come back, wrap things up. I got a few more for you, Gary, before we get done. And let me tell you all about Southern Skies Dermatology. You know, there's a stereotype when it comes to skin cancer that it's just old people, particularly old white people, that need to get checked. But we can all have genetic markers. Some of us are of an age where we just grew up in a generation that we were just ignorant about how protecting yourself worked. And we got sunburned like crazy back in the day. Then, you know, there are those of us that over time that doubles up when you age into your body not being able to fight it. The message is to go get checked. We should all get checked. My black listeners, you need to get checked too. There's no skin type that's immune from it. Bob Marley died of melanoma. We can all get melanoma. So go get checked. Take somebody with you and do it at Southern Skies. They're just wonderful. Dr. Mario is a Mohs expert. And that's the only way you ever want to have a removal done. It's the smarter way to do it. And they've got great locations all around town. A new one that will be opened up in over on the 280 corridor sometime this year. They didn't give me a hard date, but I'm excited about it because it's going to be closer to me. Y'all go see them. Get that appointment. Thank me later, especially if they find something that saves your life at southernskiesdermatology.com, southernskiesdermatology.com. Back here in just a minute to wrap things up with Gary Palmer. Stay tuned. That's our go home song, man. I get more requests to know that's Chris Knight. People ask me all the time, who is that? That song's probably 15 years old. I love that song. Good
He's got
song.
some other stuff out there too.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's not even Southern. I think he's from, I don't know. He's just not. I think he may be from Kentucky.
And isn't almost all of it acoustics?
Yeah, he's pretty solid. Yeah. All right, man. Work Trucks, one last sponsor, and then we'll say goodbye to Gary. Of course, if you got a business or you just have an organization, say you got a church, you need a passenger van, a low frills commercial based truck. They're down at Work Trucks. Then they've got, particular stuff with bucket trucks and cranes on them, and they've got vans of all shapes and sizes, cargo and passenger, flatbeds, plain old shop trucks. You just got to run around and get some stuff done. Utility bodies, all of that stuff down at Work Trucks. Low miles, pre-owned, they go through all of them. Bubba will not put a truck on that lot if it doesn't pass their 125-point test. Their reputation is on the value of these trucks, so they put the good trucks out there. Save us a lot of trouble in trying to track these down. If you're in business, man, you need to focus on bringing money in, not looking for a truck. Let them be your truck dealer. It's Work Trucks. Spell it with an X, TRUX, WorkTrucksLLC.com. Will, we're going to call it a week. What's up for next week? What can we anticipate out of the Hill next week? What's going
on? They're going to try to bring that Senate plan on funding Homeland Security to the House.
Are y'all going to agree to it?
I don't know. We go back Monday. We'll have a conference meeting Tuesday morning, and I think we're also still working on the FISA, which that 2-week extension expires Thursday, so we'll have to deal with that too.
Are you for it or against it?
Depends on the changes they make. I think under 702, you got to make sure if any American at all is involved, they're pulled out.
They've been abusing that for so long.
Well, John Ratcliffe, the director of the CIA, is a very close friend of mine, and he has assured us that there have been no violation by the CIA, but they're not the only ones that use it.
That's right, and there could be a Democrat president in 3 years. So,
yeah, so I think we need to make a few reforms, but we need it, Leland, because there's a lot of threats to the country right now.
Gary Palmer, I appreciate the time, man. 2 hours of your day, you go rest. Tell the fam I said hello.
I will, and I'll tell them you said I look tired.
You do. I mean, I could just tell you were drained.
Yeah.
But that's why I want my congressman boring and busy and tired on Friday.
Well, you got it.
There he is. All right. We'll see y'all on Monday. AJ, y'all have a good time on Breaking Bread. We'll see you come Monday.
All right. Appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your weekend, Gary. Stay tuned for Breaking Bread coming up next. Goodbye, AJ.
I'm on play.